Voila! We are in Mahmutlar. Cafes, banks, restaurants, small shops, large shops. It's not like this, not like this, not like this. Mahmutlar is the center of park areas. I say, Nastya, give me some coffee. She says, are you kidding me, sweetie? We celebrate differently, but that's the atmosphere. Good morning, friends. I'm Elena, and I welcome you to the Alanya Life Without Censorship channel. So, shall we continue exploring the districts and getting to know their wonderful infrastructure? And today, voila, we are in Mahmutlar. Why am I so excited? Because I live here myself, and to be honest, I really love this area. And now I will try to convey all my affection to you. Well, look, right now I am standing exactly on the border of the Kestel district, which is to the west of Mahmutlar, and this is where the district begins, right at this bridge. It's a bit noisy, bear with it. The view from here is just wonderful. So look, the mountains in this area. Come quite close. And it should be noted that the district itself ends over there in the mountains. If we have enough time today, we will even go and show where the boundary of this district is. You can probably immediately notice that the buildings in Mahmutlar are quite tall. There are very high buildings here, and further down there are new constructions. So the length of the district is about 5 kilometers. The district is separated from the sea by the federal highway D400, as are all the districts. Yes, it's a bit noisy on the first coastline, but sorry, that's just the planning decision here in Alanya. There are plenty of crossings, safe crossings, both underground and overground, and even in the form of bridges. So you can safely reach the sea from any point. Friends, look, here is the Mahmutlar beach. I don't even think it's necessary to wander around the beach today. Why? Because, you see, the beach in Mahmutlar is not really its highlight. Why? Well, it so happens that the coastline here, although it has a wide sandy beach with imported sand and is well maintained, has slabs at the entrance to the sea everywhere. Maybe that's why. Everyone criticizes Mahmutlar. I don't even know why they don't like it. But for convenience, everywhere, near each cafe, near each organized beach, there is a good entrance to the sea. So there are no problems with swimming. Naturally, as with all beaches, there are especially many cafes in Mahmutlar. By the way, did you know that the municipality launched a campaign last year to standardize the appearance of all cafes? And almost all the cafes in Mahmutlar now have a uniform appearance, but some things are still being renovated. By the way, some more cafes are currently being built. I repeat, the coastline is very wide. There's always enough space for everyone. And even in the peak season, it's not as crowded as, like on Cleopatra Beach. So on to Taratorila. And now I want to say why, for example, do we love Mahmutlar? Because firstly, it has a very clear and comprehensive structure and planning solutions. The central streets, except for this main road, run parallel from end to end throughout the entire district. And these main streets intersect sometimes with boulevards, sometimes with small streets. So it's clear here, no matter where you go, you won't get lost. Unlike in the center of Yalangi. There, I can't find my way around, firstly. And secondly, this district is very well adapted for foreigners to live in. A large number of Ukrainians, Russians, Kazakhs, and Belarusians live here, and the entire infrastructure is very well adapted. Let's go explore it. Friends, I want to remind you to subscribe to our Telegram channel. Why? Because then you will have the freshest information, useful information, every day, news, events, expert opinions, statistics, in short, everything you need for life in Turkey. What you should pay attention to first. Mahmutlar has a huge number of parks and playgrounds. I'm not exaggerating, we will show you all of them today. Other districts can't boast about this. Well, when we shoot the next review, you will see for yourself that this is not just empty talk. And right as we entered from the Kestel side, from Barbaros Street, one of the main streets, well, one of the two, immediately, this children's playground catches the eye. But you might say, isn't it not very big? No, it's big. Why? Because right on the opposite side, look, there's just a gigantic playground. Look, there are also benches for adults to sit on. Besides, these funny sports equipment, the exercise machines, well, they seem a bit funny to me, can be found in all parts of the city, in all districts, usually. They are on the promenades. So, here's what I want to tell you. people actually use it. In my first year living here, I thought, oh my God, who is this for? It's for the people. And this is really popular among the Turks. In the evenings, when it's not too hot, or in the mornings, people are actively working out. Further on, this area is purely a children's playground, and it's well made. Why? Because the ground has this rubberized coating for safety. And further, if we go on, oh, by the way, look at this. Oh my, how I love these trees. This tree, it blooms so crazily. Sometimes there are no leaves and it's all covered in flowers. And further on, what a beauty. Another row of blooming trees. Oh, I got distracted. So look, we have everything for the little ones here. And further over there, there's an enclosed, well, a small multi-court for basketball and volleyball. It's quite extensive. What else makes Mahmutlar attractive? Here, without exaggeration, there are quite a lot of kindergartens and schools. There are an enormous number of schools, even in the mountains, where there are just 5, 6 houses nearby, and a school is built there. And kindergartens, right on the border with Kestel, there is one of the most well-known and famous kindergartens. You know, in Turkey, the system is such that all preschool institutions here are private, meaning you will have to pay a certain amount, sometimes more expensive, sometimes cheaper. This one is well known, firstly because it is large, and secondly because the teaching here is of high quality, you could say. Why teaching? Because in kindergarten, even in kindergarten, children have activities. It's not just about eating, napping, and playing outside. But this particular kindergarten has a religious focus. Here, children are taught the basics of Islam. There are other options as well. What else do I like about Mahmutlar? The thing is, almost all the ground floors, you know, up to 90%, are occupied by some delicious establishments. A coffee shop, a small restaurant, something with pancakes, croissants, I don't know. So, you know, do you understand why we fell in love with Alanya in general? There's an atmosphere of eternal celebration here. No, don't think that we just live and, you know, celebrate, but that's the atmosphere. Of course, this is a resort town, but I've been to different resort towns, I'll tell you honestly. Here, there's truly a real resort atmosphere. Well, you're just walking down the street, and at any moment, at any second, at any time, you stop and sit down at a cafe, or you go into a restaurant. This is literally at every step. By the way, friends, look, right across from us, we see the very famous office of one of the developers. What do I want to say? Mahmutlar is developing very actively. Today, we will take a little ride and show you how new neighborhoods are being built, where there was recently a field, and now there is construction. And a few words, as is tradition, since I mentioned this in all areas, about prices. So look, right now prices are just very good. I would say excellent. That is due to various reasons, you know, the reasons, migration policy and so on. There was such a decline. In general, you can now buy an apartment here starting from 60,000. If you make an effort to search, you will find one from 60. Well, the upper limit here, excuse me, is quite something. There are such luxurious new complexes built here, and of course it's expensive. Since the traffic in Mahmutlar is not very heavy, unlike the city center, electric scooters and bicycles are popular here. You see, there are bike and scooter rentals like these, and they are really very popular. Look, this caught my eye. It's the office of an internet company. It's Fibim. I want to say that in Mahmutlar there are a lot of offices. You can top up your personal accounts almost at every step. It's not a problem at all. Friends, here we are leisurely moving along Barbara Street. It is neater and more beautiful. First of all, it looks like a boulevard. Everything is always beautifully landscaped here. The traffic, as you can see, is like this. There are no problems at all. And this is what I was talking about. To the right, there is a beauty salon and a Turkish cuisine snack bar. This is the Paris restaurant, very popular. And it seems that our base is here. Cheerful music is playing. Besides, further ahead, that yellow building is the PTT, post office. And right here in close proximity, there are many well-known chain stores and branches of some banks in this vicinity. There are many ATMs in this same square, scattered around, maybe within a distance of 700 meters. There are slightly fewer of them on the outskirts of the district. Here is also the central taxi station. Well, you know, right, that it's not difficult to call a taxi in Turkey at all, on every pole or sometimes even on a tree. There are these radio devices with a button. You press it and a taxi arrives. So here's the central station. All right, friends, also opticians, various. real estate agencies. Here, this is what I wanted to show you. Here in Mahmutlar, I think these kinds of stores with familiar products have started to open up due to the demand from foreigners. Oh, let's go in. I just want to show you what makes these stores special. The fact that they offer a wide selection of products we are accustomed to, European and even Russian. Look at the selection of these cheeses. That's when we... Turkish, definitely. Turkish products are very good. The cheeses are delicious. But sometimes, when you miss Italian cheese, like the ones with mold or something else, we all come here. Also, look, with the meat products, of course there is no pork here, but they have somehow learned to make beef brisket, and there is a very large selection. They even have herring sometimes. Look, look. Herring, mackerel, smoked, salted, sauerkraut, squid, seaweed, and more. Well, basically that's it. And these little shops, they are no longer just one. There are probably 3 of them in Mahmutlar now. They opened specifically in response to the demand from Europeans and foreigners. Condensed milk that we are used to. Condensed milk! Look, right ahead is a tea house. Yes, a tea house like the one in Moscow. Well, the menu's probably the same, like pilaf, what else, maybe manti. Well, basically everything that should be there. In fact, the first one opened right here, and the second restaurant opened nearby, in Mahmutlar, on another street. I'm telling you, they really try to cater to us. No, seriously, why else would they have a tea house or a gourmet store with Italian cheese? By the way, Turks are very conservative with food. They love their own, and that's it. By the way, there's the well-known English Home, a textile store, quite high quality, leather and furs. Look, even in our district, in Mahmutlar, we have Sali Pazari. It's a large chain store of Turkish household goods. They have everything from A to Z, as they say. Starting from small items like tape and sites, going up to repair tools and some plumbing equipment. Carpets, clothes, cosmetics, cleaning products, detergents, well, of not very high quality. You know, sometimes you can quickly grab something of not very high quality. Oh, what do I see? Look, a fence. Construction fence. I haven't walked here for probably around 2 weeks or so. There used to be an old house here. He's not here today. They demolish houses instantly, just instantly. And they do it so cleanly, locally, as you can see, precisely. Now there are banks on this street. There are several offices of well-known banks. The Karacho store is also good. They have kitchen goods, good tableware, and also textiles. Our Waikiki here is 3 stories high. In general, despite the fact that Waikiki is an economy class clothing brand. Our tourists love to buy everything here because the prices are probably affordable. And there are always lines, always a lot of customers. Burger King, again, and so on. You could endlessly show all these streets, and it would be roughly the same picture. Cafe, bank, restaurant, small shop, large shop. A bit further ahead we have Migros. 2M Migros, which is quite large. Again, you will find small restaurants. On the right, as the right side is already the first coastline, with some hotels interspersed. Although there aren't many hotels in Mahmutlar itself, there are still some on the first coastline. And of course there are many comfortable residential complexes right on the first coastline, although there are also old residential buildings. But now the old ones are being demolished, and there are many scenic complexes.
In our episodes, we cover everything about life in Turkey and traveling across the country, where it is warm almost year-round. Tall palm trees, fresh farm fruits and vegetables all year-round. If you decide to choose a place to live here, our company, Prime Invest, will be happy to help you find the best option where you will be happy to live. We are also developers and build beautiful villas with sea and mountain views. All contact details are in the description.
The stand-up comedians who live here now have their stand-up show once a week. This is really their place. Well, naturally, I won't even mention the large number of chain stores. Then we have a very large Migros. Now we are approaching it. Well, probably for about 2 years. And on the second floor of this store, there's a luxurious fitness center. We had an episode about it, but just with larger spaces and more opportunities. If you're interested, you can watch it. And there are contacts under that video. So we decided to take a break because our camera is a bit, how to say, it's hot, overheated. Yes, overheated. Well, not just like that, actually. First of all, we love Starbucks. Let's go to Starbucks. And it opened not too long ago. Why did it open? Because they built this residential complex, GBG Towers, here. Well, let me tell you, the prices are astronomical. Everything is sold out. And they say, these are just rumors, but you know, rumors don't just come out of nowhere. The Russians have bought everything. And right away, a Starbucks opened here, as soon as a new building is constructed. In general, look at the idea here. As soon as a new building, house, or residential building is constructed, the first floors are immediately filled with something interesting and new. And look, we never had a Rossmann here. We had to go to the center. Not long ago, another place in Mahmutlar opened. So, Mahmutlar is gradually becoming not a village, as many consider it, but a very central and top-notch place. And well, you all know what Rossmann is. Cosmetics, perfumes, skincare products, and of course, Starbucks. Let's go have some coffee. Want us to show you the prices? This is Nastya. I don't know, a tempting snake. This is Nastya. I say, Nastya, give me some coffee. She says, are you kidding? Something sweet. Well, anyway, let's go for something sweet. What do we have there? Well, a splendid selection. Cheesecakes, 132. Brownie cheesecake, 132. Oh, they are the same price. What else? These are the large pieces of cake at the bottom, 114. Various cookies. So this one is approximately 72. Various cupcakes and muffins, about 84, 72. So look, traditionally caramel latte cappuccino, 110, 89 for the minimum volume, 139, 112 for the maximum volume. By the way, it's a bit oriented towards the local population here. They have Turkish coffee and Turkish tea, tea 42, Turkish coffee 64. Well, we made it to the center, the so-called center of Mahmutlar. Although, you know, lately it has probably moved to another place, but traditionally it is still here. We will show you another place as well. Here is this clock. By the way, it is a common symbol for all the districts. These clocks, they can be found in every central square. Well, not just these, but all clock towers in general. They are a symbol of all districts. For some reason, they decided to install clocks everywhere. So, at this central intersection, by the way, here's one of the boulevards. I really like these boulevards. One of the main boulevards that goes from the sea and further and crosses Ataturk Boulevard. So, what do we have here? Here we have all kinds of cafes, stores, and pharmacies. There aren't many exchange offices in Mahmutlar. The central one is located here, and a couple of smaller ones have recently opened, but it's still not much. So you'll have to walk from one side of Mahmutlar to the other. Right in the center of the main square is the Mahmutlar municipality. By the way, one of my friends registered her marriage here in December, or rather at the end of November. So they also register marriages here. Besides, there is a small... Oh, friends, by the way, look over there between those buildings. A new shopping complex will come into view soon. It was a long-term construction project. It stood frozen for several years. And now, very hastily this year, it was literally completed in about 3 or maybe 4 months, and the opening is in a few days. Well, let me tell you, this is a truly significant event for Mahmutlar. A huge number of brands will be represented here, and we will definitely cover it in the next video. And by the way, there's a large square in front of this shopping center, and right now it's empty. We have a mobile market here on Saturdays. Let's take a little walk around this center. So, what else? There's a small amusement park for kids, for example, for the very little ones, but nevertheless, it's operational. In the evenings, everything here lights up and blinks. On the first coastline. Well, look, right here, not far from this intersection, there's another park. Yes, it's small, I would even say, not a park, but a little square. But still, it's shady, very shady, by the way. And they even made a small pond. Sometimes the fountains are turned on there. Well, just to take a break from the heat. Well, there you go. So, well, that's still not all. And on the opposite side, now let's go over. And on the opposite side, well, first of all, there are these ATMs. A huge number of them. And another park, also a small square. It's a bit livelier there. Look, there's a children's playground and a small number of attractions. The grass is barely surviving. Well, it's hot. What do you expect? It's really hard to maintain lawns here. The heat. And another cafe, quite a large one. They have tables both outside and on the terrace. And inside are... Yes, over there in the background, there are exercise machines for adults.
Look here, kids can run barefoot in the sand. It's so nice. And that area over there has a rubber surface. Another park, just a little drive towards Kagikak. Well, it's just park after park. This is such a lovely place, also with a fountain inside. By the way, notice those covered tables on the left, a whole row of them. These are the mini fairs, handicrafts. This is very popular here, as you probably know. Turkish women, they don't work at home. Instead, they do weaving, knitting, some crafts, and making jewelry. Actually, everything is very beautiful and, unique. You can buy something really interesting. In winter, it's not very active here, but during the high season, everything is open. Sometimes they turn on this fountain. It's also a nice green spot. By the way, friends, I want to draw your attention to something, but please don't laugh. Everywhere there are parks, there are always public restrooms, because it's quite important. Even if you go for a long walk with the same child. There are no problems with that in Mahmutlar. By the way, on the beaches, if you're not at a cafe and you need a restroom, there are municipal public restrooms here. I think there are 4 or 3 of them throughout Mahmutlar, if I'm not mistaken. Well, naturally, each cafe has one too. Just 400 meters from the previous park, there's another park. It's also shady and a place for relaxation. Look, there's water. Honestly, I don't even know if it's drinkable or not. No, well, probably not, of course. And further ahead, there's also a children's playground and a very cute cafe. It's called Lemon. There's plenty of space inside. On rainy days, you can also sit on the terrace. And by the way, the prices at this cafe are very, very reasonable. Good coffee, good food. Let's turn 180 degrees. And what do we see? Let's go. We see another park. Now we will carefully cross the road. By the way, friends, look again. I want to draw your attention. There's water here and there's water here, but I think this one might actually be drinkable. I really like this park. It has a very good children's playground with quite unusual attractions. There's a ship there, like a wooden one. And also a safe surface. It's always very crowded here. It might be a bit hot right now, but in the evening there will generally be a lot of people. There are also exercise machines for adults, as well as ping pong tables. And there's a notable spot here. We once made a video about it. Check it out. This is a private clinic, Siedra. There is a lot of Russian-speaking staff here. You can get almost all types of medical care here. They even have their own ambulance. Well, not an emergency one. So take note of this. But since it is private, of course, everything is paid. Now, this park doesn't end with this square. I want to show you something else. Let's take a walk. Look, here is the continuation of this square, what makes it notable. Here is such an incredibly beautiful and scenic path, and here, look, it's like pages from beautifully incredible books with famous, well, known to our culture, but to Turkish Bath Eastern. Here with excerpts from some of the most renowned and celebrated works of famous authors. And this alley stretches on, and as you walk, suddenly you read something in Turkish. Well, it's a good idea, I like it. And there's this winding Shady Alley, and it leads right to the street from Ataturk. And now we will head there as well. By the way, to our right is a college. The area is fenced. You know, I don't even want to aim to show you the schools right now. There are a lot of schools here. They are located both on the central streets and on the outskirts of Mahmutlar. And there are even many schools in the mountainous part of Mahmutlar. They are constantly building and building because, families have many children. And the schools are always overcrowded, so they are always constructing new ones. Literally. 10-20 meters from Siedra, from the park, I want to show you specifically. The beauty industry here isn't doing very well. Well, because, and this salon is probably one of the few exceptions where our former compatriots, Slavs, officially and legally work. Everyone speaks Russian. There are, for example, working Turks, but the entire staff speaks Russian. And it turns out, the services are very high quality. The full range of beauty services. Friends, we have stopped. Again, we want to show you another kindergarten. This is, a little street between the two main ones. A small, quiet street, and here is a private kindergarten. By the way, look, this is indicative. Kindergartens here operate in residential buildings. It is rare for them to be in a separate room or a separate building. And on the first floors, here you go, a kindergarten.
And today I still want to overwhelm you, just kill you, with parks. And right across the road, there's another huge park with playgrounds and green areas. Well, in short, you get it. Mahmutlar is the center of park zones. About the pharmacies, there are countless pharmacies, and what do I want to say? In Mahmutlar, unlike the central pharmacies in downtown Alanya, there is now Russian-speaking staff everywhere. And not just any translator, but strictly with medical education. The staff in the pharmacies here are very strictly regulated. And today is Sunday. All pharmacies are closed on Sunday, but lists of on-duty pharmacies are posted on the door of each pharmacy. For example, there is always one on-duty pharmacy in the area that is definitely open. You will come here, see where it is, the address and phone number. Very convenient. So friends, now we have moved from Barbaros Street to Ataturk Street. This is in fact the second street. Well, if you count the promenade as the third street parallel to the sea. Its appearance is somewhat simpler, but this place where we are now, remember I told you that the center might be shifting from the clock? Well, most likely soon this area will be considered the center because, firstly, a wonderful complex Yekta has been launched and is functioning here. And they have opened a large area called Yekta Mall. By the way, we had a pre-New Year episode about shopping. We also filmed here, but we won't go into details now. Actually, this place is so popular because besides clothing shopping, there is also Rossmann here. Remember I told you, there is another one in Mahmutlar. There is a Migros. With a large store here, and on the second floor, there are restaurants. This Big Chef is very, very decent, with a good kitchen. Gloria Jean's coffee shop is open, and I think there is a Burger King here as well. You can even see the elevators to the second floor. It's a nice place to walk around if you have a lot of free time. Let's walk a bit more on foot, not by car, along this street, and you can imagine what it looks like. Well, to start with, most of the development here is from about 10 years ago, or a bit more, but as you can see from this example, modern residential complexes have also started to be actively built. And so, bit by bit, they are reclaiming more space, all the area. And I want to say that Mahmutlar is now actively being developed and expanding towards the mountains. Now I want to show you a neighborhood. We will go a bit later. A neighborhood. I won't hesitate to use this word, a neighborhood, because about a year and a half ago, these were just private properties, private land. There were bananas, greenhouses, and fruit orchards. Then, for some reason, they decided to demolish everything en masse. And in a year and a half, first of all, they built a magnificent new road there. And secondly, a new neighborhood has sprung up and continues to grow. And honestly, I'm a bit afraid that this new neighborhood will soon reach my house. By the way, today we will also go up to my house. I want to show you how far. For example, I chose a place to live, how far it is from the sea, and explain why. By the way, this little spot is very interesting. Look, a little restaurant. Here is a display case like this. Fresh fish are caught daily. Yummy. Of course, they don't make it themselves, but they do purchase it, and you choose, and they quickly prepare it for you. It's a popular place. Furniture stores are common. Also, there are many Carrefour stores on this street. Efker or Efker, I'm not sure which is correct. These are our thrift shops, mainly for furniture. And in these thrift shops, you can buy used furniture, for example, if you need something modest. Carrefour, right? Carrefour. It has been operating for a long time, and there are several of them in Mahmutlar, not just one. And then everything else on the list. Everything on the list. We have pharmacies, butcher shops, hair salons, what else? And a lot of other things. There's, oh, by the way, a little shop like this. For example, if you need to buy something cheap, as they say, but effective, for 1 or 2 uses without overpaying. There are times when you need to buy some cheap dishes if you're going to the cottage, or maybe a broom as well. Just these kinds of household items. And there's a little store here for that. Everything for 5, 10, 15, 20, they somehow changed their sign. Previously, for example, they only had everything for 10. Everything was for 10. But now they have a range from 5 to 20. Well, there's all sorts of stuff. A big selection. Sushi home. We have a sushi cafe. And there are 2 very good butcher shops, really. Very good, with a great selection. I like them. Well, friends, and so on, and so on. As you can see, this street stretches far, far, far into the distance. Friends, right here on Ataturk Street, there is a public clinic where this family doctor works. And if you have a residence permit, you can receive free primary medical care. I also want to draw your attention to the fact that there are a large number of veterinary clinics in the Mahmutlar area. I don't know, maybe demand creates supply. By the way, many foreigners here have pets, but there are really a lot of clinics. Here's one of them. We actually filmed a video at this clinic. We always get our services here and are very satisfied. By the way, look, the Bosch electronics store is also in the frame. We won't show you separately how many such stores there are here, but believe me, having just one big one is enough. No, but there are small shops scattered around separately. So friends, here is the promised neighborhood. Look, they made this new road here, going up into the mountains. And on both sides there has been a construction boom. Every day, floor by floor, floor by floor, new. It's a really large neighborhood. Something has already been put into operation. Oh, by the way, I see in one building, that laundry is already drying on the balconies, which means people have moved in. Others are at the finishing stage. The third one is at the concrete pouring stage. And it all goes on without stopping. And somehow it scares me, to be honest. Why? Because now we are heading to my home. I don't want to show you the apartment, but we had an episode with Ilya Varlamov, for those who watch him. He did a big review of Alanya, and he was our guest. I just want to show where Mahmutlar is, where its boundaries are, and how far it stretches from the foot of the mountains. And why do we live in this complex? Because we love seclusion and tranquility. There, you really wake up to the singing of birds and fall asleep to the chirping of cicadas. Well, it's just the way we like it. But you see, this construction is progressing at an absolutely hellish pace, just hellish. These banana trees are being cut down. And there is active construction going on. Friends, look, now we are in my apartment. For what purpose? So you understand how far into the mountains the Mahmutlar area extends. My cat is yelling for some reason. And you see, it's far away. It's far away, it's quiet and peaceful here, but all these constructions, all these cranes, they keep getting closer and closer. And that's not all. Mahmutlar extends further into the mountains, practically right on the mountain slope. Now I will show you this from another balcony. Look, and on the other side there's a view of the mountains. So these new buildings, you see the 4 towers in front, that's still all Mahmutlar. There, straight ahead, you can also see a school, and not just one in this area. And this is Mahmutlar, yes, with houses mixed in with banana plantations. And somewhere far away, right over there straight ahead, by the way, many might be interested, we have an Orthodox church there, which is active, and various services are held there. So, my friends, here almost at the end of the Mahmutlar area on the foothills, I want to wrap up for today and to say that there is still a lot of interesting stuff ahead, because we still have so many neighborhood shoots. Honestly, I don't even know how to film some of the neighborhoods